with your Nazi sensibility. Push in the sky when you stimulate me mentally.
What's good, y'all? It's your girl Clarissa.shae, aka Unapologetic.shae. Welcome to my YouTube channel, baby. Okay. People's perception of me is a reflection of how they already feel about me as a person. And that is why I had to accept that not everyone is going to like me, not everyone is for me, not everyone is meant to be in my life. And that is okay, because vice versa. I am not gonna like everybody. I am not meant for everybody, and I am not meant to be in everybody's goddamn life.
Call you babe, you babe for the day, or babe.
So, some tips that I want to share with you all on how to get to that point where you start living unapologetically, start living the life that you want to live without any restraints, without any fear of judgment, without any fear that you're going to fail, without any fear of just not feeling like you can break boundaries and barriers, right? We got to learn how to start doing that inner work to begin with. And so the first tip, you already know, is do some goddamn shadow work. Now, what is shadow work? Shadow work is basically meant for you to uncover your triggers, your stressors, your trauma by revisiting earlier moments in your life when you first experienced that emotion, that feeling, or when you were first triggered by something. And that literally starts by one, sitting with yourself. Like, sitting in solitude is something that I recommend for anybody. And sitting in solitude means not just being at home by yourself watching TV and listening to music or whatever. It's sitting in solitude is, for me, because I'm an empath, and maybe because I'm an earth sign too. I love just nature. But me going into nature, no motherfucking phone with me, maybe my dog because he want to go everywhere I go, and just sitting there being alone with my thoughts, putting my feet in the ground, and that's solitude for me. Meditating while I'm out there, or just meditating at home but everything's silent, that's being in solitude with me. Turning off my phone, turning off any distractions, and just being alone with my thoughts. Also, how can you do some shadow work? There are so many different shadow prompts that you can use as a guide. There's not just one way of doing it. Healing your inner child is a really important step to being able to acknowledge your behaviors, the habits that you want to change, and to transform your thoughts into a new reality. One of the books that I'm reading is called You Are the Placebo. Now, this author, Joe Dispenza, he also wrote Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself and Evolve Your Brain. So far, everything that I read in this book has been a gem. I have not finished this book, but I really enjoyed reading this because it started making me realize that I am more in control of who I am than I thought I was. A lot of times I accepted other people's perceptions of me and I accepted them to be true, and I started to live by that. And once I realized that I could no longer live by other people's standards and expectations, I started taking shit personally. I started getting in my feelings like, well, I'm a failure, or I have all these expectations that I need to do this and that. Like, even going to college to me wasn't even something I was going to do. I wanted to go to art school. I didn't even need to go to actual college. I just want to be in theater. But my family, because I was a straight A student, expected me to already graduate. I was the first one to graduate in my immediate family from high school, and they already expected me to be going to college because of just my academic performance. I didn't want to go to college. No one actually knows that in my family. They will if they listen to this YouTube, but I didn't want to go to college. I wanted to move to New York and join a theater group. Like, that's something I really wanted to do. A lot of life choices that I made were not really because I wanted to make them, but because I felt like I needed to make them, right? And so once I realized a lot of the part of like that as a big part of why I was miserable is because I was not living for myself. I was living for everybody else and the expectation that everyone put on me, or placed on me, sorry. I had to start realizing, like, well, what the fuck do I want? And that's why I speak of shadow work, because you have to really uncover a lot, and you also have to relearn things. Like, you have to unlearn the shit that you was forced to learn as a child, the ways of conforming and the ways of the ideas that you accepted, the beliefs that you accepted were not your own. They were your family's. If you grew up in a Christian church as a Black person, where do you think that shit came from? Think about it. We were taught exactly how to act and be. That's why, and I'm not, and by no means am I shaming or judging anyone who is Black and who is a Christian, okay? There's nothing wrong with having a spiritual connection. There's nothing wrong with having a religion, group or religion that you practice with. It's important as beings. We are all spiritually connected to a higher source of energy to have that connection in whatever denomination or whatever church or whatever religion, whatever spirituality practice that you take. As long as you believe and know that and accept that, hey, you was created for a greater purpose in life, and you was created for a reason, and you came from someone who is divine, high, and powerful, and you also have those gifts and talents within yourself, and that's all that matters. But the fact of the matter is, the reason why I brought up the whole history thing is because from the time that we were born, even before our ancestors was here, we had to learn from someone how to think and operate in a world just to survive. We adapted a lot of other people's teachings, thoughts, and all that. So what shadow work does is it allows you to uncover that, and it allows you to release things that are no longer serving you, and to adapt a new way of thinking, and to keep what you felt like is a part of who you are, and to channel that and use it as your strengths to overcome any adversities, to overcome your traumas, to address your triggers, and to be able to think and explore new ways of living. Is my point. After you do some shadow work, or while you're doing shadow work, because shadow work is not just a 1 month process, not a 1 week, 1 day. This can happen over durations of your life. You know, you're not going to be able to identify every trigger in one instant, right? Because in order for you to identify a trigger, you have to be triggered, right? Or you can identify an emotional response or a personality trait that you have developed, right? The thing is, you're most likely going to continue to be triggered in new ways, and you're going to have to each time sit with that feeling and that emotion that has arisen from being triggered, and understand why that is the case for you, and go and do the work, and go ahead and uncover new ways of thinking, accepting new beliefs, and being able to sit with yourself, allow you to experience those emotions and release them, and let yourself know that that is no longer a part of who you are. Basically, essentially, right? So, next tip number 2 is journaling. You really want to start doing some inner work by 1, starting off with the shadow work prompts. 2, by also self-reflecting. Now, journaling looks different for everybody. Sometimes you can write out your problems. Like, I also have a journal. It's my private, sorry, that's upside down. Oh yeah. So this is one of my journals that I've had for a while, and I journal all kinds of shit in here. Like, the pages is full. So I also journal on paper. I also use my handy dandy phone. I use my notes to journal. Like, these are different sections of my notes. Like, I will click on something. I have daily goals. That's part of me journaling. And this is a note. You don't have to build a relationship with everyone you have forgiven just because you're at peace. Doesn't mean that they're not still toxic. This is a journal that when I was doing my self-reflection, I think I was in counseling when I did that. So also, this is a list of what I seek in a partner, right? Like, this is a motherfucking long ass list because I'm still single and ain't nobody motherfucking met these motherfucking standards. Okay. So I journal that way. Oop, I'm closing my phone, but I also meant to show you another way that I journal is voice recordings. So I have a lot of voice recordings, literally a lot of voice recordings. And that is how I get off. That's how I get my shit off. Sometimes I don't have it in me to sit down and write. Another way that I journal is on my MacBook. Like, I literally would go and this is just what just something I'm working on right now. But I'm also reading some tips from this list as well. So I journal in different ways. You can journal by literally just talking out loud to yourself. You can journal by writing it down. You can journal on your MacBook, on your phone. You can journal by voice recording yourself. There are so many different ways that you can journal. But part of the purpose of journaling is to be able to express your feelings, allow your emotions to come out and release them out. You can burn it. You can delete it. You can do whatever it does for you to release whatever emotion that you're feeling in that moment. And that's really a part of growth and identifying, understanding your feelings yourself, right? So these are definitely important things to do. So step number 3 is affirmations. I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am adventurous, I am creative, I am determined, I am disciplined, I am rich, I am that fucking bitch, I am that queen, I am her, I am successful, I am prosperous, I am abundant, and I am motherfucking confident. Benaiz me, I claim it with all in me, it's in me. I'm all of those things and more, hunty. Affirmations look different for everybody. I like to say, I like to do like a little script. I'm healthy, I'm wealthy, etc. I like to look in the mirror and boost my self-esteem up by complimenting my skin and my beauty and speaking magic and speaking life into me, right? That is part of affirmation. That is part of working on yourself, doing those inner works. So up next, step out your comfort zone. One of the ways that you can step out your comfort zone is simply speaking to people. If you're a shy person, if you're an introvert, if you don't really already have it in you or the confidence to go and just start a conversation, start small. When you're in the elevator is very short. Hey, how are you? I'm good. And it's good. Oh, I like your watch. That's really, oh, thank you. Where'd you get it? Oh, your bracelets are so pretty. Oh, thanks. I got this from this wherever. Oh, I really like your tattoo. What does it represent? Oh, girl, your hair is so beautiful. How'd you do it like that? Or who did it? How long have you been locked? How'd you get your curls like that? Girl, them shoes are nice. Where'd you get them from? Now, not everybody is socially equipped with being able to come up, response, and ask you questions in return. So you can, that's just a small step. Just being able to just, hey, how are you? Like, just introduce yourself. Claim stepping out your comfort zone could also look like going to have lunch by yourself. And I'm talking about a nice restaurant. Get dressed up real nice and go sit and eat lunch. It's going to be comfortable in the beginning for some people, but enjoy your meal as if you're enjoying at home. If you want to watch you a Netflix show while you enjoying your meal, baby, watch you a Netflix show. If you want to read you a book, because I like, when I go out for lunch, sometimes I just sit and eat in peace, or I'll bring a book. This is the book that I'm still working on right now. And I'll read after I'm eating, and I'll order me a drink or two. Right now I'm on a healthy diet, so I can't be drinking too much. My personal trainer will get mad. But do something like that, or go to the mall by yourself. Go to the movies by yourself. Go to a comedy show by yourself. I'm going to one tonight. Stay tuned for the video next week. I'm gonna post everything about that bitch, because it's stuff like that. Solo traveling. Take risks. A big risk for me was solo traveling. Now, the entire time I was planning this trip and I started letting people know that, hey, I'm actually going by myself, I started to get a lot of unwanted, motherfucking unsolicited ass advice. I still did what I wanted to do, because that was part of me taking risks, but that's also me stepping out my comfort zone, right? It was me wanting to explore and be courageous and be brave. And so take risks. Can be solo traveling. It can be dyeing your hair. It can be trying a different lifestyle. It can be meeting new people. It can be applying for that job that you're not qualified for, but you know you talk a good game, so you might as well fucking do it. It can be quitting and starting your own business. It can be venturing out of something that is beyond your comfort zone, but it is a risk that you have. It doesn't have to be life-threatening, and it doesn't have to be dangerous. Take risks so that way you can engage and explore new experiences and learn new life lessons and apply them to your personal and everyday life. That is really important of self-growth. That is really important of living unapologetically. That is really important to the betterment of you and yourself and your future and the things that you want to invest in yourself. Period. Also, this is one that is super, super important. Be motherfucking selfish, okay? And people have this misconception that you cannot be selfish, that you should be selfless, you should be giving, you should be, fuck all that. You need to learn how to put you first. Prioritize your love, your need, and your wants first. And that starts off by prioritizing it towards yourself, giving into yourself, pouring into your own self, making yourself happy, making yourself laugh, making yourself feel loved to begin with. Because when you begin to try to seek out from other people to fill that up for you, you are going to forever be chasing a void that is not going to be filled, because it has to be filled within yourself, by yourself. First, put you first. Tell people no. Set boundaries. That is something that my freaking counselor has been telling me to do for a year, and I finally got it. I started setting boundaries, and I started pissing people off. And again, because I don't take shit personally, I don't give a fuck that you're mad that I'm setting boundaries with you. It's good. Like, it feels so good to tell people no. It's so good to communicate my wants and my needs. And it's good to tell people when they have me fucked up, how they have me fucked up, and where they have me fucked up, and how it's not going to happen again. And their reaction means nothing to me because I need to take care of myself first. Now, me being an empath, it's kind of easier said than done than to say, for me to say it means nothing to me, because I'm still receiving that reaction and I'm feeling it. But they matter. The importance of that is that I was able to communicate how I felt, and I was able to communicate and acknowledge that how I felt was important to me to address. And whether you took it in a certain type of way was you. But what was important was that I addressed and communicated how I felt. So those are just some few tips to start adapting, especially if you're trying to break out of that way of convention, that way of living to other people's expectations and standards of you. Say all of this just to say that for you to really start living life the way you want, living authentically, being genuine, and to accept the good, the bad, the ugly that comes within you, it starts by doing some inner work. It starts by challenging yourself to take on new experiences and communicating your wants and needs and setting boundaries. All that, to sum it up, it's really important that you start doing this, not just on a personal level, but on a spiritual level, and just in all areas of your life, because a lot of times people are living to survive, or they're surviving to live. And in order to live an unapologetic, authentically, and flourishing and happy life, you have to live to just live, baby. You gotta live to explore. You gotta live to enjoy. You have to live for pleasure, and pleasure yourself, pleasure your needs. Take care of yourself. Take care of your body. And honestly, this is really important. Stop giving a fuck about what people think about you, period. Okay? Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video, you guys. I really enjoyed sitting down and talking to you. I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna cut this bitch in half, but I really hope you enjoyed all of the content that I shared. If it's very helpful and these are things that you want to start applying to your life, come back in a week or two and let me know how it's going. Leave a comment below. Definitely like, comment, subscribe, and come back next week. I got some more shit. I don't know what I'm posting next week, but it's gonna be some more shit. So yeah, again, I am Clarissa.shae, aka Unapologetic.shae. Okay, baby.